How are you, my lovelies? Oh, I've got you down here. I can have a look here. Ruthie Tootie, she's straight into it. No more jabs for me. Or I was having a look at your conversation earlier. Oh, look, the mop and bucket still hasn't moved. Woohoo! We should do a count on how long that mop and bucket stays there. It's this thing that I just can't seem to finish anything. So I'll do the whole house. Oh, look, I've had my nails done, guys. I'll do the whole house, I'll clean up, but then I can't like do the last bits. I can't put the Hoover away, or I can't put the, the mop and bucket. Apparently it's another very ADHD sign. The reason I'm noticing all these things even more at the moment is because I'm having my diagnosis on Wednesday. But we're filming it all for Loose Women, so I won't be able to tell you anything until it goes out. But it's going to be so hard because, of course, I'm going to want to tell you. Because if I haven't got ADHD, it means it's just me. Oh, very scary. Oh, thank you, Hazel Melbourne. That's very kind of you. So, we cannot... So, today, welcome if this is your first time to Coffee Moaning. We do this Monday to Saturday. Usually my husband Mark is here with me, so it's the two of us. We do newsy stuff, we do personal stuff, we do things that just interest us, we do random stuff. We just basically hang out for half an hour, drink coffee and chat. Oh, I'm feeling ADHD since hitting menopause. Mary Murphy, go to the Menopause Doctor's Instagram account and she's got a really interesting podcast there with somebody with ADHD and they talk about how the menopause exacerbates it. So I listened to it yesterday and it was really interesting. Holly McCreedle, I feel your pain. Yeah, so we talk about stuff. If it's your birthday or somebody you know's birthday or anniversary, you tell us and we sing at the end. But if this is your first time to our channel, have a look round because we have a lot going on. We have movie reviews, TV reviews, trailer reactions. We've got our family reality show. What else have we got? Cookery. What else have we got? Oh, I can't remember. I made some lovely food in the No Name Sunday show yesterday. Anyone who was at the No Name Sunday show yesterday, I have to tell you, those apple puff pastry things were bloody delicious. They were really good. We know it went a bit tits up for me, or went a bit wrong, but it was really good. And guys, I'm going to have to make it for the main channel as well because it was so good. So, right, first of all, I'm going to return from my holiday early in a business suit. I was listening to Nick Abbott last night. He was saying, anyone that takes a business suit with them to the Caribbean on a holiday is suspect. And he knew all of this was going to happen, Boris. Like I've said before, I said it right at the beginning. He put Truss in, him and his henchmen, put Truss in because he knew it was going to be a disaster, because he had planned a big comeback, right? So can you imagine how pissed off his family were that they cut his holiday short, right? Cut his holiday short. Then he set up like a war-like room. I don't know if any of you saw the photographs on Instagram of Boris. He was sat in a corner of a room like this, looking like he was like half dead with a flag behind him, with a Union Jack behind him, on the phone, looking like he was working incredibly hard. Chichilian, you know, come to save the day. You know, he'd fire in his belly to come back and fulfill his duty and save the country from the disaster that it was in. Remember, he was there only 3 months ago in the big chair, right? So all weekend, we've had to have, you know, this speculation. Remember, Rishi Sunak hasn't said a fucking word in public and he's about to be anointed as king. He's not said a word. We know nothing of his plans. We know he has no mandate. You know, so let's just park that for a minute. So I really want to dig into the fact that how are we expected to believe Boris? He comes back from his holiday early. He puts on this massive performance. There are people today saying that he was still phoning at 6 o'clock last night, people trying to get them to back him. And so he's Rees-Mogg, his mouthpiece, has been saying along, he's got well over 100, he will be running for Prime Minister. And then lo and behold, last night, he releases a statement, even though I have managed to get the 102 votes necessary, I am pulling back because I have been an ununited, it's impossible to govern an ununited party. I mean, does he really expect us to believe that when he's... Do you know what was really interesting yesterday? Whether you were listening to the news or whether you were listening to the radio, every single commentator, presenter that was talking about his resignation from the election said things along the lines of, we have been led to believe that he had the 102. We have been told that he got the 102 votes. He would have us think. Now, in TV world, you can't call him a liar, but in every way they are calling him a liar. I mean, James O'Brien is just out there calling him a liar today. I don't believe him. He's been proven to be a liar over and over again. And I just think the arrogance of it all. He's come back, he's stolen the limelight. We should have been drilling into what Rishi and Penny were going to offer us as the new king or queen of us, because that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like a prime minister, does it? It feels like, oh, they've just inherited, they're just coming in. But instead, he's stolen all the fucking limelight. It's a joke. It's an absolute bloody joke. And I am furious because they are having a laugh. How can we possibly... And then the arrogance of him to say yet again, I'm going to come back. What? You had your chance. You lied, you cheated. You were an embarrassment to us. This is my opinion. Obviously, other people have it. This is very, very much obviously my opinion. And others are entitled to theirs. But I think he's having a fucking laugh. And they dare to promote to us patriotism. He dares to say, Nadine Dorries was out there yesterday saying, oh, well, he tried to get Penny and Rishi to pull the party together again, but they didn't want to play, basically. What? So he has now cast himself as a man, gaslighting, exactly, Sarah Begley. There is no other word for it. He has now cast himself as the man that came back to unite the party when he divided the party. And these people... I mean, there was an article that came out by Nadeem Zahawi saying how he fully supported Boris. And apparently 29 minutes after that article came out, he was giving his full allegiance to Rishi Sunak. I mean, these people... You know what it is? It's that lying in plain sight. It's lying in plain sight, all of them. I am so tired of it too, Jess Plays. It was like funny yesterday. Mark was a bit... Oh, what's that? Mark was a bit down, a bit depressed yesterday. With his depression, he suffers from depression. And I said to him, you know what? I feel so flat. I feel so... It's nothing to do with our lives or us as a couple or, all the fucking shit we keep ignoring that we've got to do and all the other, the things that we worry about our kids. I said it is the state of this country. I feel so sad. I feel really low about it. Really, really low about it. And I just wondered, how are you feeling today? I think... It's like they're trying to drive us down, so we're so exhausted that we don't even bother to have an opinion anymore because we just go, what the fuck? We are powerless. We are not powerless, though. Just vote for anyone other than them, anyone. I tell you, a few months ago, I can never remember his name, we had the leader of the Liberal Democrats, and he was such a decent man. Look into him. Look into his backstory. Look into Keir Starmer's backstory. Read up about these people, about the character of these men. We knew the character of this man. And my God, he didn't disappoint us, did he? And now we've got Rishi Sunak, who we know nothing about him. We know nothing about his plans. I mean, I suppose the point is that his budget, if you like, has been put into place now by James Hunt. But I mean, is he going to get rid of James Hunt? Are we going to have another Chancellor of the Exchequer? And how will that affect the markets? Will they go, oh God, they've swapped them again? Bloody powerless. They just say what we want to hear exactly, Tanya. They really do. That's why you have to look into the person. Deeply look into the person, look into their backgrounds. Look at Keir Starmer's journey is very interesting. Very interesting. Ellen, I'm weary of the state of the world. No one decent in charge anywhere. I know, Ellen. Doesn't it feel like we're in the hands of sociopaths? Wherever you look. China, Russia, America. God knows what's going on with old Biden. I mean, I wouldn't call him a sociopath, but I mean, he's literally asleep on the job. Don't know. Neve. Jeremy, not Aaron. I was homeless when they switched over the benefits system to universal credit. Already lived through the worst of Tory cruelty, frankly. I'm sorry to say, I think we might see some more. James Hunt. Is it James Hunt? Jeremy Hunt. You know, he's going to go for more austerity. It pains me to say, I don't think we're anywhere near where we're going to end up yet. Russia ringing all of the European leaders in America, saying that he believes that Ukraine is going to use a dirty bomb. You know, you just look around and you just. So I just wanted to say, if you feel a bit down today, I hear you, I feel you, I feel the same. I feel flat. Apparently, I just heard on the news just before I came on that Penny Mordaunt is being put under enormous pressure to pull out. So that they are saying now they think Rishi will be anointed within a couple of hours, even before 2 p.m. So, have to see what happens then, won't we? It's all very depressing. It is. So, let's not do... are we proud to be British next? Let's do that last. Let's get on to something that's a bit away from politics, because it's all a bit depressing. And I would say that at the moment it's very difficult to feel proud of being British. Okay, so this was an article me and Mark saw this morning. We thought, oh, we'll like this, because we had a really good old chat, didn't we, the other day about dating. Now, the headline of this article is, if a man has 9 qualities, never let him go. If he has these 9 qualities, never let him go. So do you want to hear what they are? Now, I actually don't think this should be gender specific, having read through it. I think these are the 9 qualities. These are some of the qualities that we should all have within a relationship. I don't understand why this is gender specific at all. Because it's just assuming that all women are already perfect in that, and we can't have that, can we? Because we know that we're not. And I know that we have male viewers here, so I think, and we also have gay viewers here. So this isn't just about men. That's the title of the article. I believe these are the qualities you should have to have a good relationship, even to have a good relationship with yourself. If you choose and are joyful about being single, and that's what you want. This is just a good ways to be a human, I think. So this doesn't exclude you if you are if you are single. Oh, by the way, how sweet is this? Mark reminded me today that it's our kiss anniversary. The first time we ever had a kiss was today, 21 years ago. Actually, it was quite sweet because I was remembering when I first knew him today after he told me this about a kiss anniversary. And I was remembering how bloody cute I thought he was. I mean, my God, I fancied him so much. But I just felt like, well, I've told you this, guys, before. I just never thought in a million years he would fancy me. But I said to him today, we took the dogs early for a walk, and he was walking in front of me, and I just thought, God, you're so cute. And I was smiling. I said, oh, I was just remembering, thank you. I said, I was just remembering that time when I was in the office in Bristol. I said, you probably don't remember it, but I was sitting on this, you know, those chairs that swing round. And I said, And I was like chatting to you and I was swinging round and round on this chair. And I said, there was obviously no fucking reason for me to be in that office. I was a TV presenter. What was I doing in the office? I said, oh, you probably don't remember it. He goes, I remember it so clearly. I was like, oh no. He said, you did. You kept swinging around the chair. God, I suppose it's a bit like a modern day belly dance. Oh, Neve. Mark is very fanciful, to be fair. I wish he thought that. He just doesn't. It's just such a shame. I just wish he had that belief. Had my first anniversary with my girlfriend yesterday, Nat. Oh, happy anniversary, Erin. Helen Prince, 30 years anniversary, and my husband has so many fantastic qualities. 1 in a million. Still fancy him to this day. That is fantastic. So this article, let's see if he can tick you, the both of you. This is not going to be just men. If we have, man or woman, have these 9 qualities, never let them go. Right, so what do you think about this? So quality 1, that they are smart. What do we understand smart to be? Now, I consider myself a smart person. I can be daft as a brush with lots. But I would consider in my world, smart isn't about grades. It isn't academically, though that is very impressive. And I love super smart, super educated people, as well as I like sort of street smart. I like all kinds of smart. Apparently the smarter the man, the less likely he is to be unfaithful. So possibly this is gender specific. Yeah? So this is a new study from the Hanken School of Economics in Finland. The smarter the man, the less likely he is to be unfaithful, according to research. More intelligent men are more likely to get married and stay married. So if you're worried about your boyfriend might be too brainy for you, A, don't be intimidated because intelligence isn't everything, and B, know that you may have a guy who's more likely to be faithful in your hands. So us kicking at the gender specificness of this, though it's hard because it's an actual study they've done with men, but we don't care about that. We're just going to fuck about with that a bit. I would say that's the same with women. Again, I don't think there's any difference. I mean, somebody that is life smart is going to know exactly. Boris was very highly educated. That's right. How many times has he been married? I think that if you're intelligent, maybe you're going to weigh up more often the risks of being unfaithful. Maybe if you're a thinker, you're going to go, is this really worth it? Am I looking for the grass is greener? And is it really greener, or am I quite lucky to have what I have? Finding someone you can have a laugh with is crucial, even if everyone else rolls their eyes at his dad's jokes. If they crack you up, that's all that matters. Now, I really believe in this. My dad always used to say it was his advice for a good marriage. He goes, unless you can take the piss out of each other every day, your marriage is doomed. And I agree with that. Being able to take the piss, but it's a fine line. You mustn't do it all the time. Like one couple that I know, they do it so much, they're almost like brother and sister. Sometimes I pull back from doing too much of it because I think, I'm going to sister mode now, or mum mode. So taking the piss, yes, I think you should be able to do that a bit. But also just to be able to laugh. Just to really listen to your... A particular bad patch in our marriage, and Mark said to me once, other people find me funny, you don't find me funny. And I thought, yeah, I'm not listening to him enough because I do think he's funny. I think he's really funny. He really makes me laugh. But I listened to him when he said that. It was said in an argument and I probably shouted back at him. Yeah, banter, Jenny. I think banter is important in a relationship. Well, it's so serious, isn't it? God, some people I know that in their relationship think, oh my God, it's so serious. I'd go mad. Someone who actively supports your career. A study found that husbands were a deciding factor in 2/3 of women's decisions to quit their jobs, often because they thought it was their duty to bring up their children. Even when the women in the study described their husbands as supportive, they also revealed that the men refused to change their own work schedules or offer to help more with looking after children. Yeah, to be honest, as much of as a feminist Mark is, he would never have gone, oh, I'm giving up my job to bring up the kids, because I mean, and because his job was his passion. It's like me. My job is my passion. So we just had to find a way to work it out both ways. I wonder if sneakingly he would have liked me to be a full-time stay-at-home mum. What do you think? Do you think he would? That he makes as much effort with your friends and family as you do with his. It's not uncommon for a woman to end up giving up her own social life to slot into a new man's, but it's rare that a man does the same once entering a relationship. Oh, I don't know if I agree with that, actually, and maybe it's an age thing. I think when we're younger, and I've always drummed this into my girls, don't give up your girlfriends when you start seeing a boy, because they'll always be there for you and the boy won't. So that's been a mantra in the house. But I was a bit like that when I was younger. It'd be like, oh, I'd leave my friends, I'd just get obsessed and want to spend all the time with my boyfriend. But I find in my age group, most of my girlfriends have much better social lives than their husbands. What is it in your experience, guys? Michelle Hoston. Nobody thinks he would want me to be a stay. Yeah, we do things pretty equally, really. If anyone sees where the Penny Mordaunt's pulled out, can you tell me? My husband and I have separate social lives with friends. Family, we socialise together, but our friends are separate. It works for us. Yeah, me too. That's what me and Mark are like. Well, you know what Mark's like? He's a bit of a hermit. But yeah. Okay, emotionally intelligent. Wow. So this article says, if stereotypes are to be believed, it is women who are always desperate to talk about feelings and never men who fall hard. I don't think you can say never. That is rubbish. There are plenty of men that want to talk about their feelings, but I do think women are, just by the way that we're brought up and the way that we run our friendships, we're just predisposed to it more, aren't we? That is definitely a gender thing, the way that we're brought up. Men are told too often as young, pull yourself together, be a man, whatever that is. Imagine saying to a little boy, be a man. I mean, what the fuck? It's important each person in a relationship has a certain level of emotional intelligence. Well, of course. I mean, show me the richest, most successful, most highly educated, sexy, gorgeous, good-looking fella, and if I pick up in the first 15 minutes, and that's usually what it would take me, that he doesn't have emotional intelligence, he would be completely unattractive to me. Because, yeah, or a couple of times you're going to date them, but you can't build a life and you can't build a relationship with somebody that doesn't have emotional intelligence. So that goes without saying, both ways, men and women. A study from the University of Texas found that most successful relationships weren't down to compatibility, but rather down to making the relationship work. My research shows there is no difference in the objective compatibility between these couples who are unhappy and those who are happy. So if you or your partner is always looking for the next best thing rather than fully committing to make your relationship last, it may not bode well. I believe that. I really believe that. I mean, you have to commit. You have to say, I'm going to, unless something absolutely, unless somebody turns out to be cruel or violent or any of those things. But if you like each other and they're a good person, and I think, yeah, you've got to give a certain amount of commitment, haven't you? He celebrates your achievements. Again, I think this is important both ways. Whether it's deadlifting your body weight or learning enough German for a trip, it's important to have a partner who celebrates your achievements. Yes, 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 yes. Jealousy and competitiveness within a relationship is so debilitating. And again, if you're a single person with the relationships with your friends, I think you can put this in, whether you're single, this is all relevant. I think this is how to be in good relationships. And I think, oh, hang on. It's a picture of Penny. Has Penny acquiesced? Has she stepped down? No. And number 9, the ninth important ingredient that means that if you are with a fella, the same fella, that these are the signs that he's a keeper. Having a similar outlook in life could be crucial to a successful relationship. The more alike your personalities are, the more likely you are to approach problems in the same way. That's interesting. That kind of kind of goes against the compatibility one. You and your partner will share similar approaches to everything from socialising to working. If your priorities are the same, this is likely to lead to a greater level of respect for one another. I don't agree with this. Of course, if your partner doesn't have all the above qualities, that doesn't mean you should necessarily dump him immediately. We all look for different things in partners. That's actually quite a shit article. Mark and I got quite excited about it and scanned Reddit, but actually it's a load of old shit. No, I do think all those things are important, but it came back and ate itself, didn't it? Patel and Gova backing Rishi, right? I think it is over for Penny Mordaunt. Martina, you're right, Nadja. You have to laugh with each other. I think that's so important. I love watching you both every morning. Yeah, laughing and taking the piss out of each other. So basically, it does contradict itself, Johnny. But there's a lot of that I agree with. A lot. And I think there's no shame or harm in setting out to look for particular qualities. I don't think it is a load of twaddle. I think it twaddled itself at the end. But I think I agree with most of it. I do agree with most of it. Got to have emotional intelligence. You've got to be smart enough to understand that always looking for the grass is greener is a joke. You've got to support each other and lift each other up when they're down and be happy for each other's successes, not bring jealousy into the relationship. And you need to commit and you need to work. I think it's true. Right, okay, so I'm just going to talk now. I want to ask you, if anybody saw Richard Madeley this morning having a major row with somebody on GMB who'd said that she was no longer proud to be British. And it always, Mark was saying, you know, that online it always creates such rage. It just incites rage in people when anybody ever says that they are not, you know, that they're not proud to be British. I mean, I wouldn't say one way or the other, but what I would say is when I was younger, I used to travel a lot. And I was quite torn about, I felt very strongly towards my Arabic roots. My dad, you know, I'm very close to my dad and I loved my cultural mix. I loved being half Arab, I was really proud of it. And always had really good experiences around it and I loved it. And sometimes I felt a bit like, should I feel more Arab than I should feel British because I want to be loyal to that? My dad loves this country so much. I mean, my God, my dad loves this country. So he never put any of that on us. And I noticed as I started to travel as a young teen on my own, I started to get this sense of real pride about being British because as I would say I was British, people would be, and I was from the UK, you know, and people would be so in awe of the fact that you come from the UK. And obviously our history is very fucking dodgy. How we got here. But I don't really want to go into that too much now. I'm just talking about right here, right now. I was listening to a radio show the other day and there were expats that were ringing up from all over Europe. James O'Brien had put a call out, Germany, France, Italy. And they were saying, you know, people have this idea because of a lot of the stuff that was kicked up around Brexit, that these people in these other countries hate us. You know, the French hate us, the Germans hate us. And time and again, people were phoning in and saying, you know, it's not true. That's not the experience I'm having with my neighbours. But the experience I am having with my neighbours is people coming and saying, oh my God, how your family, you still have family in the UK? How are they? I mean, it's so terrible there. And I think I feel that now. I was saying to Mark this morning at the height of Trumpism on Loose Women, whenever we had American like movie stars and guests coming onto the show, as they would settle into their seat, they would say, oh, I'm so sorry. They would apologise for Trump. They would apologise for the situation in their country, apologise for what was being pumped out. And I think I feel a bit like that nowadays. I think I feel a bit embarrassed. It's not about us as a people. I think us as a people, as a nation right here, right now, I think we are, you know, extraordinary. And I miss this country. When I go, I love to go away, but I love to come home and I love our theatre and I love our humour and I love so many things, our culture. But I just do at the moment feel a bit embarrassed. I did hear Keir on LBC this morning. Yeah, Elizabeth, I did. Oh, I like the man. I think he's a decent man. Sarah Begley, I went to Italy earlier this year on my honeymoon. I didn't get any hate. I got sympathy, I know. It's like pity almost. It's bordering on pity. I mean, Perez was doing this thing on Instagram the other day. You know, he does these really weird films and he had the picture of Liz Truss up behind. He goes, excuse me, can somebody... How does this happen? Is this what they do in Britain? So, like, she was there for, like, 44 days, and now she got... And you just think, well, no, we can't really explain it because it is so batshit fucking crazy, and we're so embarrassed by it that actually we do find it really difficult to explain it, and we do feel a bit embarrassed, and we do feel like for a very long time we had our noses in the air, and now we feel a bit like... Yeah, thank you for that. Actually, if you can listen to Keir Starmer Ask Keir today on LBC, because you can get it on catch up, he came across as a very decent man, and listen to the James O'Brien interview so that you can be really informed, because we all have these ideas of Keir, but where do we get them from really? We get them from the right-wing press and the fact that he's got a funny nasal voice. But we need to know the man better. I'm sorry, I know they say our system is not about voting for a man, it's about voting for a party. The man at the head of the party is very, very fucking important, as we've discovered. Elizabeth, he did, Nadia. He is for the people and gives me hope. No, he really is, isn't he? Have you listened, Elizabeth, to the podcast with James O'Brien? Because James O'Brien was a bit meh about Keir until he did that podcast. You know, I mean, he was a young carer for his mother. His mother was really ill. As a child, he cared. He was a proper young carer. You know, he's run public office. He knows his stuff. He cares. He actually cares. Yeah, I loved it too, Laurel. Yeah. So, oh my God, I've been in 32 minutes. I've talked too much. Yeah, listen to it, Elizabeth. I'd like to know what you think. Anyway, my darlings, I've got to go because I've got a phone call. I've got a phone interview today to do this morning. But yeah, I think it's more that. I just feel a bit embarrassed. It's a bit shame, isn't it? Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And yeah, love you lots like jelly tots. Mark and I are thinking more and more with Coffee Moaning, we need to move away a bit from the news and move to really good juicy topics to chat to you about, because we're all feeling a bit flat, aren't we? Anyway, it's my kid's anniversary today. So I might go and put a lick of mascara on, you never know. Lots of love. Bye, guys.